Coastal processes and landforms. Objectives. After attending this module, the user would be able to understand the coastal geomorphic conditions, coastal processes, and the landforms created by waves, tides, and currents. In addition, the features of erosion, transportation, and deposition made by the tides and waves are highlighted. The uniqueness of coastal areas existing as the transition zones between the land and the seas will also be understood. Introduction. The subject of geomorphology deals with landforms created by various geological agents. Among the geological agents, waves and currents are very important, dynamic, never-ending mechanisms acting on the coastal areas. Seas and oceans are constantly sculpturing the edges of the continents and create various landforms all along the coasts. The coastal zones are very sensitive zones. The continental shelves and nearshore areas comprise about 5% of the area of the world. In spite of this, 2/3 of the world's population thrives near the coasts all over the world. Throughout human history, people have been attracted to settle along the coasts. It is mainly because of the moderate climate, availability of fresh marine food, commercial and recreational opportunities, and occurrence of many other natural resources. Coastal zones. Coasts are an interface between the lithosphere and hydrosphere. Coastal ecosystems are good habitats for innumerable flora and fauna. Time immemorial, beaches are considered to be the best places for tourism, fishing, mariculture, water transport, recreation, sporting, social, political, and community interactions. Sunbathing and souvenir collection are the regular activities of tourists along the beaches. Coastal zones are very unique and typical land masses, bordered by the seas and oceans. Coastal zones are not static but dynamic environments. They are affected by the action of waves and tides. All shorelines are subjected to both continental and oceanic processes. Waves and tides. Waves, tides, and currents are very powerful geomorphic agents. The erosional and depositional work of the sea waves can create many spectacular landscapes along the borders of the continents. Studying the coastal landforms are interesting aspects in geomorphology. Coastal geomorphology is a major branch of geomorphology. Geomorphology of coasts. Every continent or island is bordered by a long or short coastline. Coastline is the line separating the land and sea. Coastal zones are the transition zones between terrestrial and marine habitat. They form an interface between land and oceanic natural processes. Coastal areas are also varied in their topography, climate, and vegetation. Some are sandy beaches, rocky shores, with or without tidal inlets. The climate of a coast is controlled by the land and sea breezes, and the humidity is controlled by marine water. Waves are powerful tools for constructive and destructive activities. Hence, the geomorphology of beach, materials, and processes are always not constant due to the impact of everlasting action of tides, waves, and currents. If we look at the division of a seacoast and a seashore, the shoreline represents the actual landward limit of the seawater. This is the boundary between land and water. This limit varies with reference to location and time. Along the coasts, we could notice a high tide zone and a low tide zone. These are two observable waterlines up to which the tides normally swash the coast. It happens every day. The average water level between the high tide and the low tide is considered as the mean sea level. Divisions of coastal zones. Coastal belts are divided into three divisions as backshore, foreshore, and offshore. The backshore represents the beach zone starting from the limit of frequent storm wave above high tide shoreline. This zone includes a wave-cut terrace and a storm scarp. The near shore, sometimes called the breaker zone, is where the waves break. The offshore zone is further out to sea and is beyond the influence of the waves. Foreshore. The foreshore region is the region between high tide water zone and low tide water zone. It includes a beach face and a beach terrace. The surf zone exists above beach terrace. At the end of the surf zone, the breaker zone starts. The foreshore may be a sandy foreshore, shingle foreshore, muddy foreshore, or a rocky foreshore. 5 major zones. There are 5 major zones identified along the coastal belts as zone of wind action, limit of wave action, zone of swash and backwash, zone of breakers, zone of shoaling waves. Zone of wind and wave action. Zone of wind action lies on the landward side and the zone of shoaling waves exists inside the sea. The limit of wave action ends along the regions of berms, which are sediment-deposited zones well above the zones of swash and backwash. The greatest amount of sediment transport as beach deposit occurs within the shore and near shore zones. Beyond the near shore lies the offshore region. Features of shoreline. The typical features of the shoreline are breaker zone, surf zone, swash zone, berms, and beach face. Breaker zone. The breaker zone is the area where the incoming waves become unstable, raising to a peak and breaking down. Breaker zone is an important zone within which waves approaching the coastline commence breaking. The breaker zone is also part of the surf zone. The surf zone is an important zone where the waves of translation occur after the waves break. Sandbars are created inside the waters along the zone of wave breakers. The moving water masses shape the excess quantities of detritus sediments into sorted and layered deposits. Surf zone. This is the zone where the waves of translation occur after the waves break. Longshore currents occur in this zone, which run parallel to the coastline. Swash zone. This is the area where the waves backwash the materials. It is the place where up and down movement of beach materials take place. Berms. Berms are the flat backshore areas on beaches. This is the sunbathing zone with wave-deposited sediments. A berm is a bench-like feature containing sands carried shoreward by the swash. Landward of the berm is a belt of dunes built by wind of loose sand swept off the berms. There are summer and winter berms. Both are located within the zone of wave action. During the summer, accumulation of sand takes place and it forms the summer berms. The summer berm starts from the zone of swash and backwash. Bars are created inside the waters along the zone of wave breakers. Moving water shapes excess quantities of detritus into sorted and layered deposits. Beach face. A beach face is the sloping section of a beach profile below the beach berm, which is normally exposed to the action of the wave swash. Beach is the basic area where much of the geological processes are happening everlastingly. A beach is the sloping portion of the coast normally existing below the berms. This area is partly exposed by the backwash of waves, swash zone. A beach is characterized by its geometric profile and the sediments comprising in it. The parameters of a beach are its geographic setting and profile, the beach face slope, volume of sediments lying within the beaches, and their environmental conditions. Beach cycles. A beach's ability to rebuild itself makes it a formidable bastion against the sea. Whereas headlands and cliffs erode, beaches can hold their own against the anger of the sea. A beach can store sand and grow during years of good sea winds, few rains or storms, and much sunshine. As the sand pump pumps the sand from the wet beach, it causes the beach to lie steeper. During years with opposite conditions, the beach can erode and lie flatter. Beaches are classified into high, low, and moderate energy beaches based on these characters. Normally, high energy conditions prevail during summer months. The wave height increases after the onset of monsoon and produce significant changes in the beach morphology. Features of a coastline. The other major features of a coastline are sand dunes, lagoons or tidal inlets, estuaries. Sand dunes. Sand dunes of a beach up to 3 meters elevation is considered to be the zone of wind action. Dunes are accumulations of wind-blown sand. Although some dunes are bare, most of the dunes near a coast are vegetated with coastal plants. Such plants existing in a coastal dune help to stabilize the dune. Dunes are very dynamic geomorphic features. They are subjected to erosion during periods of high waves and accrete during normal wave conditions. During a storm or a large swell, waves attack and erode the dunes. This process, known as scarping, releases sand that was stored in the dune into the active beach. The influx of sand is often carried offshore to build sandbars, which help to attenuate the incoming wave energy. Lagoons. Lagoons are shallow bodies of brackish or salt seawater, partially separated from the neighboring sea by barriers of sand or shingle. The seawater can flow only through narrow openings left by the barriers. They become the coastal ponds or lakes if they are completely detached from the sea. Estuaries. Marine ecosystems also include the salt marshes and wetlands located along the shores and river mouths. Within the coastal zone, several unique habitats like estuaries, tidal inlets, and foreshore ecosystems are also included. At the mouth of every old stream and a river, there will be an aquatic condition which includes the habitat of both fresh and salt waters. These are called as estuarine environments. Estuaries are the coastal areas where the saline waters of the ocean meet with the fresh water of streams and rivers. Estuarine habitats are usually very productive because of the accumulation of nutrients from a large catchment of a river. Estuaries offer good fishing grounds as the water column is shallow and approachable. These zones are the breeding habitat for a variety of shrimp and prawn species, oysters, and fish. They also provide sheltered harbors for ships and their traffic. Estuarine waters are used for cooling of water in power generation plants. Various kinds of estuaries exist along the coasts of every continent in the world. Forces acting on shorelines. There are 3 forces which act along the shorelines. They are the sea waves, routine toads, and the longshore currents. Waves and water movement are interrelated factors on the coastal areas. Waves are undulations in the surface of a water body. Most waves are created when kinetic energy is transferred to water by the frictional stress of wind blowing over it. The rise and fall of oscillatory waves in an open water reflects the circular motion of water particles. Swells are smooth, rounded waves that travel outward from a storm center or continue as broad undulations of the ocean surface after the wind dies down. Water in the breaking wave is transported toward shore as a wave of translation. Sea waves. Sea waves have a strength to act. There are 3 main factors that affect the strength of a wave: the strength and speed of the wind, the duration of the wind, this is the length of time for which the wind has blown, the fetch, this is the distance over which the wind has blown. The rise and fall of oscillatory waves in an open water reflects the circular motion of water particles. Swells are smooth, rounded waves that travel outward from a storm center. Waves classified. Sea waves are classified into two types on the basis of depth of oceanic waters as oscillatory waves, waves in deep water, and translatory waves, waves in shallow water. From geomorphological point of view, sea waves are classified into constructive waves and destructive waves. Constructive waves. Constructive waves are low-energy waves that tend to arrive at the coast at a rate of less than 8 waves per minute. Constructive waves are small in height. They have a strong swash and a weak backwash. This means that constructive waves tend to deposit material and build up a beach. Destructive waves. Destructive waves have much higher energy and tend to arrive at the coast at a rate of more than 8 per minute. They are much larger in height than constructive waves, often having been caused by strong winds and a large fetch. Destructive waves have a weak swash but a strong backwash, so they erode the beach by pulling sand and shingle down the beach as water returns to the sea. This means that less beach is left to absorb water energy. Longshore drift. Longshore drifts are powerful geomorphic agents. They can erode, transport, and deposit coastal sediments. As waves break on a beach, they throw water up onto the beach in an area called the swash zone. Because the waves approach at an angle, the water is thrown up at an angle. However, the water runs back down the beach under the influence of gravity perpendicular to the shore. Thus, the crashing of waves causes water to move along the beach in a step-like fashion in the direction of wave movement. This creates a longshore current. Sand is transported along the beach. This process is called as longshore drift. Longshore drift erodes and deposits sand masses continuously along the beach. The sand that is removed from one point along the beach is replaced by sand eroded from upcurrent zones. Tides. Tides are routine coastal processes. Nearly all marine coastlines experience the rhythmic rise and fall of sea level called tides. The daily oscillation in ocean level is a product of the gravitational attraction of the moon and sun on Earth's oceans, and it varies in degree worldwide. Tidal action is an important force behind coastal erosion and deposition as the shoreline migrates landward and seaward. A tide is the periodic rise and fall of oceans and bodies of water connecting them. Tides are caused by the attraction of the sun and moon. Tides are a function of the sun's and moon's gravitational pull on the oceans on Earth and the rotation of the Earth. Tidal currents. Tidal currents are responsible for mechanical sorting of sediments under the water. During a high tide, water moves landward as a flood current. During low tide, water recedes seaward as an ebb current. Longshore currents. Breaking waves pour water into the surf zone. The water then moves parallel to the shore as a longshore current, carrying sand and other sediments along the coast, changing the shape of the coast, and forming and eroding barrier islands and spits. When the longshore current becomes sufficiently strong, it turns offshore in a fast, narrow current called a rip current. Rips are strongest and most dangerous on days with high surf. Rip currents are dangerous. Swimmers caught in a rip sometimes panic as they are carried offshore. Sediments carried along the coast by longshore currents change the shape of the coast. Where storm waves erode the beach, the sediments are carried away to be deposited elsewhere, building new land. Tsunamis. Seismic sea waves called tsunami are yet another force of oceans. A tsunami originates from the deep oceans and reaches the continents in the form of massive, strong waves. These are devastating water waves generated by an undersea earthquake. Coastal geomorphic processes. Oceans are bodies of dynamic water masses. Vertical and horizontal movements of water continue to happen both at the surface and at depth at all times. Over a period of time, wave action in the surf zone will tend to plane off the entire zone. This process is known as marine planation. This is a slow process. There are so many other features formed along the coastline due to various hydrodynamic actions of waves on the sea side and aerodynamic actions of wind on the land side. Wind is the major cause for wave generation. The size of a wave is related to the velocity of wind and duration of the wind. Sea waves. Sea waves are powerful geological agents acting from the shorelines to the coastal belts. They erode, transport, and deposit the marine sediments based on various factors and processes. Erosion, transportation, and deposition happen on both sides of the shoreline. Coastal rocks like cliffs are also subjected to wave actions. Sea cliffs are very unique features seen in some places. Processes of coastal erosion. The combined effect of waves, currents, and tides result in a variety of gradational processes acting in the coastal zone. Coastal erosion happens in the form of hydraulic action, abrasion, attrition, solution, and water pressure. Hydraulic action is the impact of moving water on the coastal rocks. It is caused by the direct impact of waves on the coasts. Enormous pressures can build as water and air are compressed into the rock fractures. Mechanisms of erosion. The most important erosional process in the coastal region is abrasion. Abrasion or corrosion is a kind of erosion happening with the help of tools of erosion. In water suspension, coarse sands, pebbles, cobbles, and boulders are used by the waves to attack the coastal rocks. The second one is attrition. Attrition is a process in which mechanical tear and wear can break any rock mass into fragments. Mutual collision affected by backwash and rip currents are powerful tools of coastal erosion. The next process is corrosion. Corrosion or solution is the chemical alteration of rocks which are soluble due to their contact with the sea water. Solution is locally important, especially where soluble rock is exposed along the shore. Due to periodic wetting and drying, a wide range of chemical processes happen on the coastal rocks, which lead to both physical disintegration and chemical decomposition. Alternate freeze and thaw can also make these rocks to be easily attacked by the waves. A good number of coastal features are formed by the action of these sea waves. Multiple episodes along coasts. Coastal sediments are subjected to multiple episodes of erosion, transportation, and deposition, though a net seaward transport takes place on a global scale. The deep ocean floor becomes the resting place for terrestrial sediment eroded from the land. Beach drifting transports sand grains along the beach as waves strike the shore at an oblique angle. Sediment is carried landward when water rushes across the beach as swash. Sediment is carried back toward the ocean as backwash. The continual uprush and backwash carry sand in a zigzag-like movement along the shore. Erosional landforms. Landforms of coastal regions are classified into two major groups as erosional landforms and depositional landforms. The notable erosional landforms of the coastal areas are sea cliffs, sea caves, sea arches, sea stacks, wave-cut notches, and wave-built terraces. Sea cliff and waves. Wave erosion undercuts the steep shorelines and creates the coastal cliffs. A sea cliff is a vertical precipice created by waves crashing directly on a steeply inclined slope. Hydraulic action, abrasion, and chemical solution all work to cut a notch at the high water level near the base of the cliff. Constant undercutting and erosion causes the cliffs to retreat landward. Sea caves form along lines of weakness in cohesive but well-jointed bedrock. Sea caves are prominent headlands where wave refraction attacks the shore. Sea arches and stacks. A sea arch forms when sea caves merge from opposite sides of a headland. If the arch collapses, a pillar of rock remains behind as a sea stack. A sea arch is a natural opening eroded out of a cliff face by marine processes. Some arches appear to have developed from surge channels, which are created by wave refraction, causing the focusing of wave fronts on the side of a headland. Caves produced on either side of a promontory may become joined over time to become a tunnel and finally an arch. Sea arches have been regarded as ephemeral forms tending to survive over periods of just few decades to several centuries. The term sea tunnel can be used to describe a hole in the cliff line where the arch itself is considerably longer than the width of the entrance. Wave-cut platform. Wave-cut platforms are often most obvious at low tide when they become visible as huge areas of flat rock. The platform can only be identified at low tides or when storms move the sand. After the constant grinding and battering, eroded material is transported to adjacent bays to become beaches or seaward coming to rest as a wave-built terrace. Depositional landforms. The notable depositional coastal landforms are beaches, spits and bars, tombolo, barrier islands, mudflats. Depositional beaches. A beach is a section of the seashore where unconsolidated sediment or grains of worn-down rock has collected. Unconsolidated sediment is a sediment in which the individual grains are clearly separated and can move freely like grains of rice. In contrast, consolidated sediment is a sediment in which the individual grains cling together like particles of moist flour or mud. Most beaches are composed primarily of sand, grains of quartz and other hard minerals between 0.063 millimeters to 0.025 inches and 2 millimeters to 0.08 inches in size, although some are composed primarily of pebbles or fragments of seashells. The unconsolidated and small sediments that make up a beach are easily moved by the action of waves and wind. Consequently, the shape of a beach is constantly changing as sand is removed from or deposited along the shoreline. A beach is exposed to wave action along the coasts. Beaches have a characteristic morphology that changes from season to season. Beaches are fragile ribbons of sand that are frequently broken by action of nature and man. Beaches are dynamic landforms altered by wind and waves in a continual process of creation and erosion. Seasonal cycles of sand deposition and loss dramatically affect the appearance of beaches from summer to winter. Spits and bars. A sand spit is one of the most common coastal landforms. A sand spit is a linear accumulation of sediment that is attached to land at one end. Sand carried parallel to shore by longshore drift may eventually extend across a bay or between headlands, especially where the water is relatively calm. Spits are typically elongated, narrow features built to several meters high above sea level by the action of wind and waves. Spits often form when wave energy decreases as a result of wave refraction in a bay. When the wave energy is dissipated, it will cause the sediment to accumulate due to the loss of ability to transport the sediments by water. The spits can extend across the mouth of a bay, but wave action is usually strong enough to wash sand out to sea or be deposited in the embayment. They may curve into the bay or stretch across, connecting to the other side as a bay mouth bar. When the bay is closed off by a bar, it becomes a lagoon. The term bar refers to a long, narrow sand embankment formed by wave action. Tombolo. A tombolo is a depositional landform in which an island is attached to the mainland by a narrow piece of land, such as a spit or bar. Tombolos are formed by wave refraction. Littoral drift from an island may form a tombolo, which is a sandbar connecting the island with the mainland. Barrier islands. Coastlines paralleled by offshore narrow strips of sand dunes, salt marshes and beaches are known as barrier islands. Between these islands and the mainland, we can see the features like shallow lagoons, bays, or marshes. A variety of barrier-related features could be seen along the shoreline. Bay barriers are continuous barrier beaches that close off the entrance to a bay. In the upper reaches of a bay, the bayhead barrier protects lagoon or marshland. Barriers that connect headlands together along the outer reaches of an embayment are called bay mouth barriers. Barrier spits. Barrier spits are beaches that are attached at one end to their source of sediment. Simple spits consist of narrow finger of sand with a single dune ridge that elongates in the downdrift direction. Double spits can form if drift transports sand in two directions across an inlet, or if a baymouth barrier is cut by a tidal channel. Wave refraction at the end of a spit will transport sand to form a recurved spit. Complex spits form when a plentiful supply of sediment is transported by both the ocean and bay currents. Multiple lines of dunes can be formed by wind transport of sand across the spit. Capes. Capes are barrier islands that project into the open sea to form a right-angled shoreline. These are generally large features that are exposed to wave attack on each side, but one side is accreting while the other is eroding. This produces a distinctive series of truncated dune ridges. Mud flats. Mud flats are formed due to the action of tidal currents. They contain silt and clays. They are exposed during low tides and are covered during high tides. In some of the exposed mud flats, after a full retreat of a sea level, plants grow in these mud flats, forming salt marshes. Deltas. These are bodies of sediments deposited by the rivers when they confluence with the seas. Deltas build outward from the shoreline at river mouths. There are three kinds of deltas as wave-dominated deltas, tide-dominated deltas, river-dominated deltas. Conclusion. There are several other aspects coming under the coastal regions. The classification of coasts, classification of beaches, and classification of shorelines are all very vast areas of study. All of them are coming under the subject called coastal geomorphology. It is a very interesting subject to learn. There are hundreds of kinds of landforms existing in several parts of the world. Let us try to understand them in this subject, geomorphology.